Good people, what is going on? Another episode of the All Go Podcast. I'm your host, Desmond. Thank you for tuning in. It is a beautiful day here in Michigan today. Out for a quick walk. And I did some work on a list because we've got a long ways to go before we get some actual football. So I was thinking of topics I could do, and that would, just be something that I wanted to do, but figured this would be a great time to do it because once football starts, then you're gonna talk about the games. That's about it. But I started with a relatively easy one and a kind of a popular one with top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. And this is just my list. You can disagree, agree, whatever the case may be. That's fine. And for me, I used a couple different things. I mean, it's kind of difficult. It's hard, regardless of what you use. But some of the things I used were obviously personal, accolades. Obviously, team success is part of it as well. Kind of a quote unquote doing more with less. You try to take into account what a guy has had to work with. So, without further ado, first one's pretty easy. Patrick Mahomes. He's got essentially almost all of those he checks the box with. He's won at a super high level. I think he's got, 2 MVPs, I think? Multiple Super Bowls. He did it with Tyreek Hill, did it without Tyreek Hill. Obviously, he's had Kelsey the whole time as a starting quarterback. But he's just gotten it done. It's looked a little different the last, 3 years with the defense kind of playing better and the offense being more kind of ball control situational. But obviously, Patrick Mahomes is number 1. Number 2 was a big deal. I've gone back and forth on it, on who I would pick as number 2. And actually, from the moment I've made the list to right now, I think I've convinced myself to switch it. So what I wrote was Josh Allen as number 2. I think I'm going to switch that. I've got Lamar Jackson number 2. I think one of the biggest things is I think Lamar has done more with less than Josh has. If I'm not mistaken, I think they've both been to one conference championship game. Lamar didn't play well in it, so I get that aspect of it. But when you look at it, I think offensive weapons, he's had Mark Andrews has been his number 1 go-to. But outside of that, I know Rashad Bateman had a better season this past season, but I don't think he's lived up quite yet to the hype when it comes to just what he was drafted to be, and it's a work in progress. We'll see what happens there, but obviously he's got 2 MVPs if I'm not mistaken. Definitely has to play better in the playoffs, but I think with just how dynamic he is with his legs, and then also just pretty consistently improving with his passing, I think he's done a terrific job. I would go Lamar 2. Josh Allen would be 3. He's got the MVP. Like I said, Josh has played really well in the playoffs in different moments. Obviously, they had the 13-second game where, they had Kansas City, what we all thought was dead to rights, and then turns out they didn't. So Josh would be there. It like I said, it would be close because if you tell me I've got the second, draft pick or number 3, and I've got to draft, Josh Allen is the guy that's left, I'm not going to be upset about it. I think those 3 are pretty high up. Mahomes is in his own category, but that would be my thought on it. Josh Allen's terrific. I mean, he's got a huge arm, can run. I mean, it's almost like he's a one-man offense outside of when he had Stephon Diggs, who got a lot of targets and whatnot. But he super talented player. He can do pretty much anything you need a quarterback to do and more. He can do some stuff running backs can do. So Josh would be number 3 for me. Number 4, you might think I'm nuts, but I'm going Jalen Hurts, number 4. And I get it. People go, blah, blah, blah. But it's hard to deny a dude that, number 1, has been to 2 Super Bowls, right? The guys above him only Mahomes has been to more. And in those Super Bowls, he was pretty darn good. The most recent one when they won it, obviously he was really good. And he did have the fumble. That was a scoop and score for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, gosh, what was that, 3 years ago that they played in? So I get that. But outside of that, he was pretty darn terrific in that game. Some people, argue, oh, he outplayed Mahomes. I'm not sure I would go that far that he outplayed him. But, Jalen Hurts was terrific. I think he had over 400 yards of total offense in literally the biggest game of the year. So, there's a lot to be said there. Obviously, his rushing ability, he's a big dude, available a lot. I mean, he doesn't miss many games. I'm trying to think of the last game I can remember Jalen Hurts not starting. That was a regular season game. So, he's available a lot. And I get it. They have some, a stretch through the season where there was a lot of talks about A.J. Brown and him making comments about their offense and so on and so forth. I get it. But performance-wise, I think he does exactly what this team needs and a little bit more. I think the passing numbers could definitely get better, but, I mean, they're a running team, and they also have, a couple really good receivers. But Jalen Hurts would be my number 4. And then number 5, I think you could probably guess, would be Joe Burrow. I get last year they were 9-8, not awful, but I mean, to me that's underachieving. Make no mistake about it. You also lost to the Patriots week 1. I get it's the NFL, right? A lot of different things can happen, but the Patriots were a really bad team last year. They were really bad, and you were one of the. What do they have? 4 wins last year? 3 wins? You were one of those 3. That's tough. I mean, if you don't have that loss on your schedule, you're 10-7 and you're probably in the playoffs. But you did. So that's tough, especially when you got, Jamar. You have, I don't know, a top, what is Jamar 3? Top 3 wide receiver, maybe even 2, that is your go-to guy. And then I think T. Higgins did miss some time, but nonetheless, still, I mean, the defense wasn't great, so I will give you that. But, for example, that first game against the Patriots, I think they scored, 13 points, 10 points? It's just got to be better than that, especially when, hey, man, you're the guy. You're the $50+ million quarterback, and it sounds like I'm crapping on Joe Burrow, and that's not the case. What I'm just saying is the expectation is so high because of what you've done in the past that we just got to have it, at the end of the day. So Patrick Mahomes 1, Lamar 2, Josh Allen 3, Jalen Hurts 4, and Joe Burrow 5. What are your thoughts? That is it for me. Peace.